Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Good morning, Square, Ryder Danger, and Vicky. Glad to see you guys here this morning. But man, the market's kind of really coming up here. You know, the SPY is back above $400, which I think is a pretty big price point here. So maybe the SPY can keep recovering back up this morning. You know, it looks pretty promising, and we do have a lot of stocks starting to pop back up, like DraftKings ever so slightly. Zoom's trying to come back. I believe Apple and Microsoft. Yeah, Apple is really coming up here in pre-market along with Microsoft. So we are seeing some recoveries here out of some of the stocks in the market. I do like this type of resistance that Microsoft is like just now breaking. Let's see this level here. You know, it's really close to like 272, and we're kind of breaking out here at market open. So far today, guys, the market's looking pretty good. So I'll take it, especially compared to that movement yesterday. The movement yesterday was brutal, guys. I know that, you know, a lot of growth plays were down 5%, 10%. We even saw some of them down like 20%. So, yeah, I'll definitely take the green movement so far. Yeah, let's go, Sean. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, Hunter. So, thank you guys for joining so far. You guys see any stocks that are popping or anything? Definitely let me know in the comments. I'll take a look at some of these. But so far today, looks like we're seeing some of the China plays really pop up. I see LI Auto is doing well with earnings this morning. They're up 12%. I saw BABA was up 3.8%. They were kind of flying up in pre-market as well. So, you know, we're seeing some of these China plays move. Even NIO is up another 7% this morning. So we're definitely seeing some momentum here come across the board. And like I said, I'll definitely take it compared to that movement yesterday. Like, NIO was brutal from the high of day right at market open yesterday to the low around close. NIO was down around like 6 or 7%. So that's a pretty bad drop out of them. And some stocks were even worse yesterday. So keep that in mind. But yeah, honestly, my whole watch list is mostly green today. I only have a couple of stocks in the red. Looks like Peloton, unfortunately, missed on earnings again, and they're falling down 14%. Guys, this is pretty bad to see with Peloton here. I know that, you know, we've been watching Peloton slowly go down over the past like couple of years, actually. Honestly, ever since that high of 2020, they've been falling straight down. So honestly, like 2 whole years just about. I mean, it's getting terrible here, but yeah, they're down to $11.58, and they just keep falling another 13% with those earnings. And man, if you guys are upset with Peloton, definitely let me know in the comments, because I know they need to turn things around. I know they were even having people get hurt on their machines and stuff, which isn't good. And they've had some really bad press and obviously bad numbers too. I remember there was some speculation about Peloton getting bought out by like Nike or something like that, but you know, I guess that never ended up happening. I know it was just rumors, and you know, I'm sure that people have been kind of speculating about it, but we'll have to see if maybe a deal happens over the next like couple quarters. But I don't know. Maybe something will happen with them, but either way, they're a stock in the red. But yeah, I don't want to dampen the party too much because we have a lot of recoveries going on. So CCL up 5.5%. It's having some great movement this morning. I'll take this for some of the reopening plays. Definitely looks pretty good here. Square is also moving up 6.4%. These stocks are really recovering up. So yeah, this is a pretty good movement, at least so far today. I'm wondering if this can keep up, though. You know, I know that we've seen a lot of volatility lately, even yesterday in the middle of the day, like with Zoom. You know, they were doing great and then started falling right back off towards the end. So we'll have to see if they can hold up here. You know, like these stocks just continually keep moving lower. So we need to see in like a nice support form or like a nice, a good area of consolidation or something. And, you know, who knows? Maybe like $92 will be that with Zoom. I know throughout the day today, Zoom's going to have a huge resistance up here, right around $100 even. We can see on Friday that was a pretty big resistance too. So, you know, definitely keep an eye out for $100 on Zoom. That's going to be a big level to look at there throughout the day today. But yeah, so far here, stocks are doing great. I'll definitely take this movement. Let's see that SPY again here. Yeah, SPY is actually breaking out up above 404, which was a pretty big level over the past couple days and pre-market and after hours. I will say they are kind of consolidating though at 406, which is another big resistance that I've seen the past couple days. And honestly, 406 is more defined even than like 405 is. So let's go ahead and I'm going to move this drawing here really quickly up to 406 because I really like the way that's lining up there with a lot of levels like from yesterday it opened too. That we've had actually a lot of bounces at 406. So I do like that as a good resistance. I'm curious to see if the SPY will be able to break that though, because that's a pretty big touch this morning. And, we're having a lot of selling pressure come in now out of nowhere. So keep that in mind. But yeah, the selling pressure is getting brutal here. And I hate to see stocks selling off this much here this morning. It's been it was a pretty good recovery, but now it's kind of selling off a little bit more here. I wonder how Apple and Microsoft are doing, and yeah, they're kind of selling off a little bit too. I will say though, they're still up a lot in pre-market, so if we do sell off slightly, I won't be too worried as long as we continue up later in the day. Yeah, Square says it's tanking now. Yeah, it definitely is. Look at Tesla here. They were flying up this morning and coming right back to reality, it looks like, as of now. How's good old DraftKings? Let's see if they're holding up a little bit better. And yeah, even they're starting to turn over, unfortunately, which sucks to see. They were all the way down to $10.88 yesterday. It was a brutal day for DraftKings and a lot of growth stocks yesterday. So hate to see that, but like I said earlier, though, so far the movement today is pretty good. So I'll take it, even though we are coming back down. At least we had that nice pop in pre-market to at least like cushion the blow a little bit. I think that's definitely helping out somewhat here. But yeah, some of my favorite plays lately have been, in like the oil sector, for example. And we can go look at stocks like Oxy, and they've been really consolidating like right around this $57 support. I'm kind of curious to see what Oxy does today because they had a crazy move the past few days. So look at them on Monday. They fell from 63 down to lows of 57. Like that is a huge move down. So if we see them break below 57 today, who knows? Maybe this will be another nice play to the downside, but honestly, I'll watch it either way. If it starts popping up, then I'll play Oxy to the upside, but I'm kind of leaning to the downside here. But I will say these oil plays have been extremely volatile lately, whether it's Oxy or ZOM or CVX. All of these stocks have been extremely volatile. I know like CVX, for example, yesterday fell a lot with Oxy and just all the oil plays. And when you go look at crude oil, it was also down a little bit, but nothing too crazy, obviously we've been falling down, but we're still up above $100, which is crazy to see. Looks like $100 was a pretty big support late last night around 9 o'clock my time. Yeah, you can see here on the chart, it definitely got pretty low last night to right around $100 on that daily candle. So that's weird to see. I know oil has been all over the place, and who knows, if it keeps falling, then Oxy might be a good play down, and I'm going to be watching for that just in case we see that pullback start to happen. I know Oxy's been kind of breaking out lately, so I will watch for a breakout too, but just keep in mind there was 2 terrible red days here, so I'm going to kind of look out for a continuation with that. I'm kind of also curious to see how Twitter's doing today with everything going on with Elon and everything like that behind the scenes. I'm sure you guys have been on Twitter a little bit looking at Elon's profile, and he's definitely been sending out some weird tweets, that's for sure. I know I post some of them in the Discord and stuff, but yeah, there's been some pretty weird tweets here. Let's see. So Twitter kind of bouncing off the 47.50 support, coming back up today a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I don't think the movement is anything nuts here. We have Square saying Oxy earnings. So yeah, let's go see that. I know that they do report here pretty soon. Let's see. So yeah, okay. So they do report today after close, of course. So that's going to be really insane for them. Obviously, if I was going to day trade them, I would just get in and out really, really quickly. I obviously would not be holding for any real amount of time if I was like playing this to the downside or anything. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I definitely won't hold through earnings. That's for sure. But yeah, they do report today after close along with Roblox, and actually a whole bunch of stocks report earnings today. If you guys are interested in any of the stocks reporting, definitely let me know. We have SoFi, Roblox, Coinbase, Unity, Win, Matterport, Rocket, or RKT, I should say. So that's going to be a pretty big day, actually. Unity's mixed in there. That's the one that people kind of forget about a little bit. I do like Coinbase too. I think that one has has some potential. So we'll have to see what happens. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at Roblox, though. That's probably going to be the biggest one tonight, along with SoFi. But I know Roblox has been insane the past few years, and let's see if Roblox. I should say the past few months. So let's see that max daily chart here. You can see how low Roblox has been falling here, down to 24.39 today. I mean, wow. I can't believe how low they're getting. But man, it sucks to see them down this low. And look at that IV popping up to insane levels too. So hopefully Roblox can report some good numbers and come back up. I will say I think Roblox has potential to do well. You know, they've done well on earnings in the past. Like back in the beginning of last November, you can see they had a nice gap up on the chart with the earnings, and then they really ran. I know that lately, though, they kind of gapped down on earnings, so keep that in mind. They did go down on their last report, but we'll have to see what happens with them. You know, I know that these stocks are very, like, for example, their market is always changing, especially like in Roblox's example, because, you know, they have a lot of stuff going on with monthly active users and stuff like that. So as long as they report good numbers, they'll probably end up doing pretty well here. So yeah, Roblox is reporting tonight, and let's see, Sean says AMC. Let's go check that out. Wow, AMC is kind of coming up today, Sean. It's up 9.7%. It's actually, well, for a while there, it was up above that high of yesterday, like right around market open. AMC was sitting at like 1360. So to see us, you know, breaking back up above that is pretty telling here, Sean. So that's cool to see with earnings. I can't believe that their earnings are going as well as they are. You know, I wouldn't have expected to see their earnings do, or for them to move up with their earnings at least. You know, I know that they usually lately have not been doing too well, to say the least. But yeah, it's cool to see them doing well here. Let me get up some of their numbers here really quickly for you guys, so we can kind of like look at this, look at some of the big stuff going on here. I'm gonna try to find like a really good article for it, because I don't want to just, you know, find some random headlines. I'd like to see some actually good numbers here. So Yahoo says that they beat estimates, and they have a lot of stuff going. So hang on one second, guys. Let me get this up for you. And it's still popping up here this morning. You know, it's holding its ground. Let's see it on the 1 minute. Yeah, it's really holding its ground here today. It's actually doing a lot better than I would have thought that it would have done, to be honest. You know, I can't believe it's winning. But let's see here. All right, so here's the article on Yahoo right here. So we can see that they beat their 2022 Q1 estimates. Obviously, that's part of the reason why they are flying up. This is just a little Yahoo chart of their price, kind of showing how it's been, you know, falling back down here. But I'm trying to see some good numbers here. So here's their adjusted loss per share. So they actually came in better than expected on the EPS. They beat on revenue, which was cool to see. So that's really good, actually. I mean, I'm glad to see them beat those estimates there. And I really hope that they can, like, for example, have a good outlook as well, because over this summer, I hope that more people kind of get back out. And if they get back out into society more, that's going to really help AMC, I think, kind of like how it helps these airlines and cruise lines. You know, like we've been seeing good news lately with like some of these airlines like Delta and everything like that, and it's been really trying to, you know, pop back up over the past few weeks. But you can see they had a lot of momentum from that low of $30 back up, and maybe that'll be a good thing for AMC, you know, if these reopening plays start recovering. So I'll definitely take it with AMC, and who knows, you know, maybe this will be the bottom. We actually got really close to that big support around like $13. We did break below it ever so slightly, but you know, that is a big support there. Now we're right back above it. So maybe AMC can start popping, guys. I mean, that would definitely make for some good price action and some good movement here. It's definitely an interesting stock to talk about, to say the least. And I'll definitely take this price action today. It's looking pretty solid, and so far, lots of momentum back to the upside. But yeah, if you guys are interested in any other stocks, just let me know in the comments. You know, there's so many different plays running up today. My watch list, there's a few stocks up like 9%. Like we have AMC. Looks like good old Clover Health is also up 9% as they reported earnings last night. We're seeing Royal Caribbean run up 3.5% actually, which is a pretty good move. They're moving a lot higher today than most of these cruise lines and airlines are. So that's pretty big. I know that last week they fell a lot with their earnings. So glad to see them popping back up here. I wonder how the other cruise lines are doing, like NCLH. Yeah, NCLH is doing good this morning with their earnings. We have RCL obviously up, CCL. So yeah, these cruise lines are looking okay. I will say CCL is kind of pulling back a little bit more than some of the other ones, but that's all right. It's still looking okay. Let's see Pfizer actually, because Pfizer is starting to run right back up to $50, which is a huge resistance level for them guys. So really watch this with Pfizer. It's a pretty big resistance coming up, and it's already up 2.5%. It has a lot of momentum, and it's pretty much been straight up all day today. So this will be a pretty big stock to look at. Maybe Enphase will be pretty good. Yeah, Enphase was running this morning, but kind of like what we've seen with a lot of growth plays, they are starting to fall back down. Yeah, it looks like Rivian was also up a little bit. I know this one has been a crazy stock, guys. Rivian has just been getting destroyed lately with everything going on between Ford selling their shares, and then I know I believe it was JP Morgan was selling a big block of like 13 to 15 million shares for an anonymous person. So it's just insane to see all the selling going on with Rivian. As soon as that lockout period ended, you would maybe think that a company like Ford, for example, might hold on to those shares. Now, I'm not sure that they sold out of their whole position or not, but either way, you would think that if it's 9 million shares that they would just continue to hold it. But I guess Ford might be a little bit bearish on Rivian. Plus, keep in mind, they're an insider. They've been in it for a while. I'm not sure their exact price, but who knows what price they got in at before, Rivian hit the market. I know sometimes those insiders can get in for pretty low prices if they, do things the right way. So that's definitely going to be a crazy thing to look at with Rivian here. If the insiders keep selling their shares over the next few days, it's not going to be good. And we have earnings coming up tomorrow with Rivian. So yeah, it's going to be rough. And I know these EV stocks have been reporting pretty bad numbers lately. Like, look at poor Lucid here. Ever since they reported, they've been falling off and breaking back to new lows here. So it's been really brutal for these EV companies. It's terrible, and I wish that they'd do better. I really do. I wish that they would start to pop back up and have better production, but we're just not seeing that happen yet, unfortunately. But it's okay. I will say Tesla was pretty shaky in the beginning too. I do think Lucid and Rivian are two of the EV stocks that could end up doing well in the future. Like they're just now getting their production started and stuff. So maybe over the next couple of years we'll see them do better. But as of now, it's going to be a very long road to recovery. We'll say that, a very, very long road, because they have such a long way to go. These other companies are producing hundreds of thousands to millions of cars per year, and we have Lucid out here producing, so far this year, I think it was like 300 vehicles or something. I mean, it's just it's terrible here. But let's see. So Square says Roku earnings maybe be like Netflix. Let's check it out here. Roku earnings. It very well could be, but didn't they just report? Let's see. So they reported back on April 27th, and they're starting to fall off here. Square, I could see them keep going down, to be honest. They have a lot of momentum to the downside. They're breaking back down today, down to new lows from yesterday. So definitely not good for Roku. It's slowly turning around, and I will say it's not just Roku. My whole entire watch list is slowly turning back into the red here. So keep that in mind, guys. It's not good to see all of these stocks falling back off like this. It's definitely going to make for some more bad movement if we see this continue to happen throughout the day today. But yeah, I could see it happening, Square. I think they could definitely keep going down. They already reported, though, so they didn't do the best or the worst. Honestly, since they reported, they started kind of going up for those few days there, but now they're right back down. So we'll have to see what happens, but I could see it keep going down with Netflix. That would make some sense. They're both reliant on subscriptions and stuff like that. I know Roku also does stuff like with TVs and stuff too, but either way, I think it could definitely start to fall down a little bit more. Netflix is also continuing to fall. I mean, it's up today 0.7%, but as we can see, it's continuing to move lower this morning, and who knows, it might get to that 172 level from last night. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. We're not too far away from it right now. So yeah, it's getting scary again, guys. These stocks are turning right back over, and a lot of these growth plays that were green this morning, kind of like Palantir, are now even lower. Like Palantir's almost to $7 now. It's just wow, this selling pressure is getting insane, guys. We need to we need to call Powell and tell him to pump the markets again, because he's I know he tried to pump them up last week and it worked for a day, but wow, ever since like for those initial 2 hours after he spoke, the market was doing great. Let's go check that out. So yeah, right here with the SPY, you can see Powell started speaking, the SPY flew right up. We hit that 430 resistance. We also moved off of some key trend lines here, and then we're moving now right back off to the downside. It's definitely a bad move on a technical basis, and a bad move just based on support and resistances, and just also with him speaking, it's just very bad event news. For example, if he would have continued and the market would keep popping, then Powell would probably be praised right now. But since the market turned right back over, I know that the Feds obviously are taking a bit of flack. For example, Powell kept saying transitory for 6 months, while the Fed should have been raising rates. Inflation was transitory, and then slowly he had to walk back his transitory statements, because as we know now, inflation was not transitory. It ran up to, what's it at now, 8 or 9%. It's just it's insane to see what we're seeing right now. And tomorrow we're going to have the CPI data coming out, so that's going to be a big event for tomorrow's live stream. So don't forget to check that out tomorrow, guys. Come back and we'll be talking about the CPI data and all of that movement going on tomorrow morning. But yeah, it's brutal, guys. The SPY today is starting to sell back off. It was looking pretty good in pre-market, but we're giving those gains right back to the downside here. And same thing with Apple, just giving back everything that it kind of made up this morning. So that's pretty bad to see. Bad to see overall, and just a lot of plays are down. Like I said this morning, Peloton was moving low, and they're continuing to kind of fall off here. Look at this in pre-market. Peloton was down to $9.78, and now they're kind of falling back lower, like they're going to come back down and try to retest that or something. So definitely some bad price action this morning out of Peloton. Let's see here. Trading Lifestyle says shorts are doing great with Twitter. Oh no. Let's go see that. Oh yeah, Twitter's back down this morning here, down 0.75% again. I know that we saw that Hindenburg paper come out yesterday. Trading Lifestyle. That's pretty big. I know that they talked a lot about Tesla, not Tesla, but obviously Elon Musk holding all of the cards in Twitter, and they pretty much said that Elon might try to restructure a different pricing plan where he can get a lower price per share, obviously. And if that happens, then obviously the initial price of $54.20 per share that people thought about now would change. So that could happen. Keep that in mind, but I don't think it will. There is a possibility of it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Here, I'll go ahead and bring up the article really quickly here for you guys, just so we can see exactly what they're talking about. Because they did talk a lot about the repricing. That, to me, that was the biggest thing. They see a risk of the deal being repriced. And obviously, if that happens, then who knows what they'll reprice it at? Maybe $50 a share, maybe $47.50 a share. It creates a big unknown, so that's the big thing. It's just, it creates more uncertainty, and whenever there's uncertainty in the market, what happens? Stocks like to go down. So that's kind of what we're seeing with Twitter today. I will say, though, Peter, it's kind of holding good off the 47.50 support, though. I'll take that. It's kind of trying to pop back here, but I definitely don't think that we'll see anything crazy happen. So here's the Hindenburg research report here. So yeah, you can see they said Musk holds all the cards. We see a significant risk that the Twitter deal gets repriced lower, and you can see here, but after expressing some brief but very strong hesitation, the board accepted the offer almost immediately, underscoring how Musk's offer was vastly superior to alternatives for Twitter, including remaining a publicly traded company. Since the day before Musk disclosed his initial stake in Twitter, multiple developments have weakened the company's position, threatening the current deal dynamic. So, they're pretty much saying that the deal could get restructured. And if that does happen, obviously, the price that Elon pays could be less, of course. And like they're saying, the Twitter board accepted that deal very, very quickly. So it's going to be really tough. Yeah, Peter says, yeah, the repricing is key. Yeah, that's a hard level. Yeah, it's tough, and I know that 4750 is holding up today, but if this deal changes, I'm sure Twitter stock will go all over the place. But one thing to keep in mind, guys, is that Hindenburg, you need to take this with a grain of salt too, because if they have a short position against Twitter, they could be putting out these articles trying to make the stock go down, and they've done this with DraftKings, and they've done this with a few other stocks. Now, they might have been right, about DraftKings, like for example, they hit it on the head right with DraftKings. Honestly, their stock kept falling off, and it was pretty insane to see DraftKings continue to fall lower, after Hindenburg put out their report about it. But keep in mind, Hindenburg's not always right, but I definitely am going to take what they're saying here with a grain of salt. But either way, they have been correct on some stuff in the past, and who knows, if that deal gets restructured, Twitter stock is definitely going to go crazy. Real says they laughed as they left the room. Yeah, I agree. I think they probably did. They were probably laughing as soon as they sent that report out. So it's yeah, I'm sure they also are making some good money today. Real, as their stock was falling. I know that's a pretty big thing. Yeah, Peter says, yeah, he says, yeah, they are kind of sus in their reporting. Yeah, they definitely are. That's for sure. They're always trying to make things seem a lot worse than they are, because like I said, a lot of times they have short positions against the stock, and that's always tough to see there. But oh man, if you guys are enjoying the market so far today, hit that like button. We always like to see more interactions and everything like that. Yeah, Real says no, Twitter laughed. Yeah, you're right. They probably did. They were like, man, $54.20. I'll take that. They're the people on the board are probably happy as can be. I don't know how much money they're gonna make from this, but yeah, I could see him laughing. Real. That's definitely that definitely makes sense. $54.20. I mean, that's it was pretty high compared to where the stock was at the time. That's for sure. But keep in mind, I will say it was interesting to see how Warren Buffett was getting into the arbitrage situation with Activision, because Microsoft set to buy Activision at like $95 a share, and he got into that arbitrage here, somewhere around like $75 or $80, I believe. So I don't know, $95 is all the way up here at the top. I'm sure Activision is pretty happy about this one too, if the deal goes through, that is. I know that they're still facing like regulatory concerns and different stuff like that, but this is another one where they bought it, like for example, Microsoft bought the company for quite a bit higher than it was trading for at the time. So that's pretty crazy to see, how much some of these companies are kind of overpaying. But keep in mind, they're kind of paying back to the prices of earlier last year, which was a lot higher than obviously, whenever we started falling down in Activision's case. Activision had a lot of company specific news too, so keep that in mind. But yeah, it's definitely big with Twitter. It's going to be tough, and man, I hope Hindenburg doesn't ruin the uptrend, because I was kind of hoping that Twitter would start to move back up here. So it's sucks to see with that. Real says, so tempted to buy an Activision call option. Yeah, that makes sense. If that deal goes through, Activision should start slowly trading up towards $95 a share. Just keep in mind that the options chain changes a lot whenever these companies go through like acquisitions and stuff. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind, that the options chain might not be the same. Definitely look at the pricing really hard. You can see the IV has fallen off extremely over the past few months, because people just aren't expecting that big of a move anymore. So just be really careful. I know that those chains can get really crazy, but yeah, I definitely see what you mean. If that deal does end up going through correctly, you would think Activision would start to move back up towards 95. So, yeah, I could see that happening. But yeah, so far today, getting into some other stocks in the market here. We do have some pretty good plays still moving up. Trying to find some that have momentum moving up at the moment. I guess like some of these chip plays like Nvidia don't seem too bad. They're coming right back to the upside. Like, look at this movement out of Nvidia today, guys. Like, we ran straight down at market open. Now we're flying right back to the upside, and we're honestly about to break that pre-market high. Who knows? Maybe if Nvidia runs up above like 178 or something, they could start to have a pretty good move. I think we could have a nice move towards maybe like 180 or something like that. I think that could make for some good price action today. But either way, I'm glad to see the semiconductors doing well. I'll take that movement for sure. Square says, oh yeah, TTD earnings. So yeah, let's check them out really quickly. I know they also report tonight after the market closes as well. So that's going to be big. And they're moving down a lot ahead of earnings here, Square. I hate to see that. They're down 3.5%. Square, you looking to play TTD to the upside or something? Definitely let me know, because it's definitely looking brutal here. Yeah, it's down around that 1,000 SMA. Yeah, it's not looking good. I'm curious to see how this stock will do on earnings, because it's been a crazy past few weeks for them. They're breaking below key supports, and they're even falling below $50 now. So it's been a very tough past few weeks for the trade desk here. So hate to see that. Hopefully their numbers come in better than expected, and maybe they'll pop up. But I don't know. I'm not betting on it with how much they've been kind of falling off here. Let's see. Square says SPY resist on pre-market high. Let's see that. Yeah, I'm sure it did. Let's see. Yeah, it did. Well, it kind of did. The pre-market high is kind of like right around like 402. You can see, oh, maybe you meant the pre-market high of like yesterday, maybe. I will say the SPY had a big resistance today, right around 406. And to me, that was the biggest level today. You can see that we hit 406 on Friday, had a big bounce, and then we hit it right at market open yesterday and flew to the downside. And now today, we bounced off 406 and started falling back down again. So I'm definitely going to be waiting for a big move up through 406. There is a really good pre-market support, like right around 402, that we're kind of bouncing off of right here as well. So that's a pretty big move there. Okay, so Square's looking at a move to the downside on TTD for earnings. So that's going to be pretty big, Square. Maybe that could be a good play. If I did anything, I think I would lean to the downside on this. But just keep in mind, earnings are so risky that I never even play them anymore. If I do play earnings, I'll end up grabbing shares or something before the earnings. Kind of like if we see a really solid stock that's low and it has earnings coming up, sometimes I'll grab shares. Kind of like in Disney's case. Like Disney is one where I'm really looking at that for maybe a share, like a good share opportunity here right before earnings, because we're really close to $100. And, if we fall lower, I feel like we're pretty close to the bottom at this point. Maybe we're not, but I feel like we are. So I feel like I might grab some shares ahead of Disney's earnings. We'll have to see though. It's going to depend on a lot of factors over the next couple days, like with the SPY and everything like that. But sometimes I like to grab shares ahead of earnings. I don't like to grab options though, because as we know, those stocks usually get IV crushed, and whenever those IVs get crushed like that, those options prices just get killed. So that's why I don't like to play earnings. You can definitely take a stab at TTD to the downside if you want to, though. I know sometimes those plays can really work out. I will say I recommend getting closer to the money, though, than most people go. A lot of people would love to go really far out of the money ahead of earnings, but I think just going at that one might be pretty good. Let's see. We have Peter saying AMD above $90 is a good call play. He says AMD breaking out. Let's check that out here. AMD, yeah, wow, it is breaking 90 in a good way, Peter. That's a good call out there. I know that 90 was a pretty big resistance. We can see there was a lot of price action right around $90 intraday yesterday, and then of course right after market open here, we retested 90 again. But Yeah, it's really breaking out, Peter. Glad to see that. It's moving up in a good way. I remember yesterday I had my free day trade in there. Um, I had AMD down below 91.50, so it ended up rocketing below 91.50 once it fell below it. You can see it. 91.50 is marked by my cyan blue support line there, and it got destroyed below that yesterday and moved all the way down to 85. I would have never expected a move like that, but that first initial scalp was amazing, and it worked out very, very well there on AMD. And yeah, it's nice to see it kind of coming back today, Peter. That's a nice move. We have AMD moving up. We have Nvidia also breaking out, so that's cool to see. Nvidia is almost back up to 180. I know I talked about this one earlier, but 180 is a huge, huge resistance on Nvidia here. I think we have a chance to break out above it. I'm just saying that is a big level to look out for, so definitely keep that on the radar here. But yeah, thank you guys for talking about some of these big stocks here. AMD is big, Peter. I can't believe that these chip stocks are running up as much as they are today. That's pretty cool to see with them. I wonder how some of like the smaller chip stocks like MU, Qualcomm, and those stocks are doing. And let's see Qualcomm here. It's trying to come back today. It's nothing too crazy, but it's trying to come back a little bit. Same thing with MU, like they're trying to come up. MRVL also trying to move. So it's been pretty lackluster today for most of these chip plays. I will say it's good to see AMD and Nvidia up though. That's always a plus. I wonder how good old Intel's doing. Let's see. Intel is right around $44. They were recently bouncing off 43. And guys, I will say I'm gonna throw up a nice chart here of Intel. Let me know what you guys think of this stock. It's I know some people like Intel, some people hate it. So let me know in the comments down below. I know a lot of people would rather have AMD and Nvidia. Some people would rather have Intel. It just depends on what you're into. Obviously, Nvidia deals more with like graphics cards. Intel deals more with like CPUs. AMD does both of them. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Intel is really big here. It's like kind of bouncing on this huge support at like $43, like I said. And look at this green support line on my Intel chart here. Like it has not been below this green support in years. Like it's been holding up above this ever since the beginning of 2018, actually. So to see it starting to maybe fall back below here is going to be bad. I hope that it can hold, but we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be a really tough next few months for a lot of stocks, and I hope Intel also holds up here. It's definitely big. Let's see. Peter says AMD has news on new chips, so that's awesome. Let's see that today. Let's see. So they're moving up today. It's interesting though to see Nvidia flying up with them, Peter. They're moving up with the same amount of momentum just about, but yeah, let's see. So wow, they announced 3 new Radeon RX series graphics cards. That's huge actually, Peter. That is huge news for AMD guys. Wow, yeah, this is amazing. I mean, if you guys don't know too much about graphics cards, keep in mind that AMD has had some awesome graphics cards over the past couple years. Like they've had the 6900 XT and a couple other ones like that. So it looks like they announced some new additions to their 6000 series. So they're going to have the RX 6950 XT, and it looks like that's going to be their most powerful graphics card, coming in just above that 6900 XT that I talked about. So they went from 6900 to 6950 there on the name. So looks like they upped that a little bit. They also are coming out with the RX 6750 XT and 6650 XT. So that's pretty big there for AMD guys. I know that's huge. Let's read some of this. So it says, with a 2.1 gigahertz game clock coupled with 16 gigabytes of high-speed GDDR6 memory, the AMD Radeon RX 6950 XT graphics card delivers incredible performance and breathtaking visuals for the most demanding AAA and esports titles at 4K resolution with max settings. The AMD Radeon 6750 XT graphics card offers a cutting-edge, high-performance gaming experience at 1440p resolution with max settings, and the AMD Radeon RX 6650 XT will offer a high refresh rate and 1080p gaming with max settings. So that's pretty big, guys. They're coming out with 3 pretty good graphics cards here. I will say, if the 6950 XT can run the most demanding AAA titles at 4K resolution with max settings, that is pretty big. You know, I know that like there's a lot of very demanding games out right now, like Escape from Tarkov, you know, some of the new Tomb Raider games and stuff like that. What's that new one everyone plays? Elden Ring. You know, like these games that have really good graphics, and most people's computers cannot play them on max settings on 4K. That takes a lot of processing power. So if that 6950 XT can really run 4K with that type of power, I mean, you know, Nvidia needs to step up their game. You know, I know they have the 30, I believe they have the 3090 Ti out now or something like that. So either way though, that's huge for AMD, guys. If you guys know anything about gaming or anything, those numbers are amazing. So that's huge, and I can definitely see why their stock's moving up today. That's really telling. Thanks for pointing that one out there, Trading Lifestyle. I'll definitely take that. Yeah, Square says pretty good chart, bouncing off support. Yeah, thanks. I know Intel is it's definitely on that big support there. Maybe it'll start to bounce back up a little bit for us. It might be a pretty good support buy now, but just keep in mind, Square, there's a lot of market factors at play here, like everything going on in Ukraine, you know, the Fed's raising rates, and obviously all the inflation news and stuff is going to be big as well. Mike Simon says, hi, Mike and Tom, what do you think of Tesla? So, you know, I know there's been a lot of videos about Tesla lately, and I'll find the YouTube video that we made regarding Tesla, and I'll go ahead and link it in the chat here. But yeah, so in my opinion, I think Tesla is a little bit overvalued here, especially in the shorter term. So if I look at Tesla on a chart, I'll just do a deep dive of Tesla for you, Mike. We'll go ahead and just do that here. So yeah, looking at it here, Tesla has it's had a lot of growth, to say the least. You know, it's been really flying up. You know, obviously we had pre-split levels of $75, like at the low of like 2020 there with COVID, and now we're sitting all the way up at like highs of $12.43, and even right now we're at $813, $814. And if we go on a percentage gain basis here, like let's go back to $75 there, right by that low, and go all the way up to the high. You know, from that COVID low to here, Tesla was up 1,500%, guys. That is insane. Okay, 1,500%. Okay, that is a very, very big pop, okay, out of a tech stock, okay? And even where Tesla's at now, that's still a 954% pop from that low down there. So that is just very telling, okay? It's still up like 10x from that low. So just keep that in mind that, you know, Tesla, it is falling and it's down quite a bit from the high, but it has a long way to go, in my opinion, to the downside. Now, I'm someone who loves Tesla, and I hope Tesla does great. You know, I love them. I love their company. I love their cars. I'm even on the waiting list for their truck, actually. I'm on the list. I paid the little fee. I'm on the list for the truck. You know, if they announce the truck tomorrow, I could technically buy it if I choose to. I still might not get it, but still, you know, I have that pre-order spot, you know, established. So that's telling. You know, it's not like I don't like Tesla. I just understand that their stock is overvalued. And for everyone who also likes to look at technical setups here, their stock on a technical basis is also looking bad. So you can see we posted lower yearly highs right here, which is not good. You know, you can see it constantly had lower highs. We hit 1243, then we had lower highs again there, right around 1200. Then we tried to hit 1200, but we only made it to 1150 on that last pop. So we're seeing continuous lower highs, and the stock just continues to just bleed off here. So what I'm looking at in the short term here with Tesla is that they have a big support right around $790 to $800, okay? And we're kind of bouncing off of that right now. So we can see intraday, it's kind of bouncing off 790 to 800, or 780 to 800, I guess you could say. So it's having a pretty decent bounce. So if it holds this, I think Tesla has a chance to hold here and then maybe go back up. This has been a big support back on January 28th, and it was even a pretty big support back around March 15th. There was a little bit more volatility around March 15th, but you can still see that it was pretty much right in line with, 780 to 800. So looking at it, that's a big support. It might start bouncing here in the short term back up. If it does, then I'll definitely look at it to the upside. But with all the stocks lately going down in the market, I'm going to have to lean to the downside with Tesla. It's not a good thing to see it selling off this much here. And I hate to see a lot of people get burned, trying to buy Tesla to the upside right now. And I know that there's been, obviously, like Mike and Hunter have put out some pretty good videos where they talked all about Tesla's valuation lately. So I'll go ahead and link that in the chat here once I get that up here. But yeah, either way though, it's been pretty telling for Tesla the past 2 months. They've been really falling off, and a lot of people have also been speculating that with Elon Musk buying Twitter, he's not going to be paying as much attention to Tesla anymore. Now, I don't think that's the case. I still think that he's going to pay plenty of attention to Tesla. Obviously, Tesla's a lot bigger as far as like market cap and everything like that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, either way though, I don't think that he's going to not pay attention to Tesla anymore just because of Twitter. Obviously, that's definitely a not too big of an issue for me. But, I know that is an issue for other people, and that might scare some people, which could cause selling pressure. So that's the only reason that I bring it up. But yeah, it sucks to see all the downwards movement lately between Twitter and Tesla. Twitter has been also kind of falling off. So I know that initially when that deal was announced, it was flying up, but now it's starting to, slowly fall back over, and no one wants to see that. I know I'd hate to see that, but yeah, guys, Tesla is it's brutal, and I hope it bounces on this support, but I'm not too optimistic. I will say though, intraday today, I don't think it looks bad. Like if Tesla comes up and breaks the high of day here, right around like 825, I think it could make for a good in and out day trade. And I love Tesla for day trades. I just don't think it's the best like long-term pickup at the given price point. I feel like we could get it a little bit lower here. And here I actually got the link here. So if you guys see it in the chat, I threw the YouTube link out there for the Tesla valuation video. I know Mike and Hunter go all good. They pretty much go over everything with Tesla, with their price to sales, some of their outlooks, some of the high costs that Tesla have going on. They go over a lot. So definitely check that video out if you're interested in Tesla, and leave a comment on the video too. Comment on the video and give your opinions on Tesla. I know not everyone thinks that Tesla is overvalued. Some people think that Tesla is still undervalued given what they could do in the future. I know Tesla, they have a lot of big things coming up, like with their robots and everything like that. They've been talking about making their, I guess you could call it like a Tesla bot or like a cyber bot, or I'm not sure like what you want to call it, but it looked pretty telling. It was like a white robot there. Here, I think I'm going to get a picture of it up here for you guys really quickly. So let's see, here it is. Yeah, so this is like what it looked like, and he actually had an unveiling of it, I believe, at his Austin factory opening, or it was the Berlin factory opening. It was one of those factories that he recently opened. He also had like a statue up of their robot, so that's pretty telling there. I know that these robots are pretty big. I know that like robots are pretty scary to think about. Oh, here it is. Yeah, like robots are really scary to think about. But look, he says it's aimed for 2023, and he says it'll be worth more than Tesla's car business. And I think that's just really, really telling whenever Elon Musk, such an influential person, says that these robots will be worth more than his cars will. But I will say, though, if you could program these robots to, for example, make cars, or maybe program the robots to, make food at like McDonald's, or program them to clean houses, or like mow lawns, or program them to do anything, that could be a pretty big thing for society, guys. I mean, that would take away a lot of those jobs that people don't like. I know some people like those jobs, but you know what I mean? Like, for example, it'll give people a lot more free time if they were able to buy a robot and have the robot like do their household chores and do everything like that. That could be pretty big. And wow, he actually said it's named Optimus. And like I said, he said that it will be worth more than their car business and worth more than the full self-driving. So that's pretty telling when Elon says that. But yeah, guys, Tesla's stock has been all over the place lately, and it's a pretty big stock to look at. So thanks for bringing that one up here. But let's go back to like Apple, Microsoft, and some of those bigger stocks in the market here and see maybe how the market's looking, because it looks like so far today, Apple's starting to pop back up a little bit. It's holding its ground very well. It did look like it was falling back off at market open ever so slightly, but it started popping back up. So I'll take that movement out of Apple. It's definitely not anything negative. It's having some pretty good price action if you ask me. Microsoft is actually popping up in a big way. It's actually back above the 272 resistance here, and actually I could see Microsoft continuing to run up today. I actually really like this setup with them. So yeah, I love this with Microsoft. It's having a very nice move this morning, which is great for the overall market. It definitely helps out when you see them running. Wow, looks like Nvidia kept going up too. They ended up 7% right now. That is a big move for Nvidia. That's huge actually. AMD actually slowed down a little bit. So AMD's only up 4%, and they had the good news with their graphics cards coming out. What's interesting is that AMD announced their graphics cards, which should, cause a lot of competition in the graphics card industry. And for example, like AMD and Nvidia, they both make graphics cards. So I would think that Nvidia might start to fall down a little bit now that AMD announced their graphics cards, but Nvidia is also flying up here, which is extremely interesting. I can't believe that they're falling up, that they're moving up in such a big way. Like that's pretty huge to see them flying this much today. Like they're moving more than AMD, which had the good news. So I'm a little bit curious if maybe like the specs came out for AMD's graphics cards and maybe it showed that Nvidia's cards were still better or something like that. I'm not sure, but either way, I know AMD has been making huge strides in the gaming industry and just, the computer industry overall with their graphics cards. And for them to come out with this new 6950 XT is going to be pretty big for them, but I don't know why Nvidia has the better price action out of the two stocks. That's kind of mind-blowing to me, but yeah, either way, it's definitely making for some good movement, and who knows, it could make for some pretty good intraday moves if we see anything. Bravo says, "Sup guys, I know I'm late, but thanks for the show. What's your impressions on today green? Is this a sell before Biden talks?" So, it could be, Bravo. It very well could be. I guess Biden speaks a little bit later today. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, the SPY, Bravo. So what I'm seeing is the SPY hit a huge resistance here at 406. I see 406 as a huge level. Ever since Friday, we've had a lot of touches of 406, and it seems like we're having a lot of trouble breaking out above that. So since we're not really breaking out here today, I think that we could see the market fall off a little bit more. It looks like we are starting to point back to the downside. What I will say, though, is that some of these bigger tech stocks like Apple and Microsoft, they've been holding up pretty good today, although poor like stocks like Tesla are starting to turn back over. So it's been a little bit rough and shaky, to say the least. It's going to be tough to gauge today, Bravo. I think that there's a, I know that obviously this isn't like the exact statistics, but in my opinion, I think the SPY can go either way today. Like, I just kind of expect it to maybe stay within this little range it's in, between 396 and 406. Now, it can definitely break out, and I hope it has a good move one way or the other, but I don't see it doing too much. These stocks are really mixed. Like, some of my watch list is red today, some of it's green. Most of it's green, but, some of these stocks that are red are pretty bad, are pretty just negative stocks to see in the red. Like, it's some of these like bigger value plays that have been really flying up a lot lately, like Walmart, Matterport, Target, Kraft, like a lot of those stocks are starting to fall back off today while these growth stocks are moving back. But you know what I will say is, like, the SPY, for example, has that huge resistance at 406. Maybe you can use that, and if we break above 406, it can make for a good play to the upside. To the downside, I'm really watching for a big move below $400. I think that's going to be a huge, huge thing there. Bravo says, I'm staying invested and I appreciate Mike input. Best to dollar cost average. So yeah, definitely, Bravo. That's a big deal there. Dollar cost averaging is amazing. And yeah, I know Mike's been talking about that a lot over the past few months. Dollar cost averaging is huge. And right now it's just, it's going to be a good time to keep averaging in, especially like on a lot of stocks that are low. Like if you guys have not started a longer term portfolio yet, I feel like over the next few months, you're going to have a really nice opportunity to do so. Personally, I see the SPY keep falling off here. I know some people are, hesitant about the sell off. Like some people are thinking that like this might be the bottom, for example, around $400. And, I really hope it is. But personally, I think we could see more selling, like especially if people keep thinking that big stocks like Tesla are overvalued, then you have to think that the SPY will keep falling. Like if Tesla is going to keep falling along with Apple and Microsoft and a lot of these other stocks that are overvalued, then the market just has to come down. It's just a natural thing that happens. And with the Feds raising rates they are in their current cycle, it's not helping, along with war. The threats of war right now with Russia and everything aren't helping either. So it's just it's a tough time in the market. And, I'm sure that we'll continue to see a bit of pullbacks here, maybe for the next couple weeks. I still think that I don't think that the selling's quite done yet. Even though we're green today, obviously we could end up red by the time the market closes with the way the market's been moving lately. So always keep that in mind here. But Bravo says, these sellers are into FOMO selling over some inflation concerns, which kills the economy. I don't know if it happens. Yeah, I know. They're FOMO selling out, and it's kind of crazy, Bravo. Like it's like a big snowball effect. Like some people start selling and they see prices going lower and lower, and then they just keep selling out. Like for example, day by day, I'm sure more retail traders are starting to get worried about AMC, and they're probably starting to sell out of that. Man, I know AMC was doing great this morning, and it hit that $14 resistance and just got rejected really, really hard there. So sucks to see them, but honestly, they're about to give back all their gains from earnings. So that sucks to see with that move. Bravo also says, unlike COVID, we saw what could happen, but we bounced back stronger off of that. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that is true. We bounced back very strong with COVID. And man, I know that a lot of that bounce back was also attributed to the Feds keeping rates low and everything like that. And now that they're raising rates, man, I'm a little bit worried. I don't know what's exactly going to happen with the market, but it's a tough time here. And, it's brutal today. Like the SPY's even starting to turn back over. I hate to see that. And he says, only fear is war if it turns nuclear. Yeah, that's definitely going to be big, Bravo. If the war does get nuclear with Russia, that would be obviously worst case scenario. I'll be honest, if the war with Russia turns nuclear, as in like actual nukes going off, I don't think I'm going to even worry about my stocks at that point. I'm going to probably run straight to the gun store or something, if that happens, but that sucks. Bravo says, yeah, but eventually Feds will start bond buying in future. Yeah, you're right, Bravo, they will. But keep in mind that they just started selling bonds. So we're kind of in that cycle where they're going to still be selling out of bonds for the next however many months. So keep that in mind. I definitely feel what you mean, though, but for the next, however many months, we'll keep kind of selling out with the bonds because just, the Feds have been buying up a ton of treasury bonds during COVID, so they have to start getting rid of some of them. That's just kind of how that happens. And he says, actually, if you think about it, odds of more rate hikes can go lower with this drop in the market. I know, Bravo. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. But, the thing that sucks, Bravo, is that, for example, the rates are still super low. Like they're going to be slowly getting up to like 2.5%, Bravo. That's the goal. Like I don't know what the Fed's goal is for inflation, but I know like a median level is somewhere around like 2% to like 2.5%. So they're probably going to keep raising them slow and steadily till it gets up to around that. Now, I don't think that they're going to do that every single month, of course. Like they're not going to do 50 basis points every month like the last month, but they are going to let that get up there a little bit because it's just you can't keep rates at like 0% forever. It's not good for the market. At some point, it ends up becoming overbearing, and it causes high inflation. It's kind of like what we've seen. The Fed waited way too long, and the main thing and the main reason why they're doing that with rates is inflation. The inflation's at like 8 or 9%. They're trying to combat that a little bit, and the only way is to start, raising the interest rates a little bit. And there's so many weird factors that go into everything that happens here with the bonds and everything like that, and treasury yields. And talking about yields, let's check those out today. Wow, the TNX actually dropped pretty low this morning, so that's interesting. I know the TNX has been flying up a lot lately, so it fell back off. Hunter says Tom and I will be playing Connect 4 in a bunker. Yeah, yeah, that's right, Hunter. We'll be betting cans of beans on our games of Connect 4, see who wins. But yeah, that's funny there, man. We need if the war goes nuclear, I'm investing into more of Lockheed Martin and more of General Dynamics. That'll be big if something like that happens. But I think the chances of a nuclear war are very, very low. And keep in mind, I don't think any country really wants to do that. If anything, I think that we would just have a war, obviously, without using nukes. I know it might come down to nukes in the end if like one country feels like overly threatened, but I know that the chances of that are always very, very low. And of course, the DEFCON levels would start to go up too a little bit more. But I'm surprised that we haven't heard anything about like the DEFCON levels going up. I was kind of thinking that we might start to see some of those levels rise with all this war news going on, but I haven't really seen an uptick in anything like that lately, or at least I haven't in the news. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the streams here, definitely hit that like button here. It definitely helps out. It's right around 9:30 here. We'll probably get ready to wrap up the stream soon. If you guys want me to cover any last minute stocks or anything like that, definitely let me know. Maybe you guys are looking at some good intraday plays, or you guys are looking to play some day trades. If you are, just throw them in the comments. I'm always down to eye up some day trades and stuff like that. It's always sounds good to look at some of those intraday moves. I know sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, but I always love to catch some good day trades every once in a while. Let's see. Bravo says, if nuclear war, then forget the market and run for your life. Nowhere to hide. Yeah, that's right, Bravo. There's almost nowhere to go. He says, go to Chile/Argentina because it's safe from nuke. Yeah, it probably is. I don't know how that'll work, but yeah, it probably is, Bravo. Or maybe like some like random island off in the middle of the ocean somewhere would be nice too. I mean, that would probably be nice. Like, I don't know what's out there. Maybe like Fiji, or like somewhere out like in the Bahamas might be okay. Or like you said, even down there in like Chile/Argentina, that's pretty far south. I know that Bravo, a lot of people don't even realize how close South America is to like Antarctica at the bottom of it. It gets really cold down there, believe it or not. A lot of people don't even realize that. But yeah, either way though, our markets are really crazy today, guys. The SPY is definitely having a lot of issues breaking out above 406. That's a huge level for us here. Let's see. Aloha Parson says no place is safe. Yeah, that's right. Nowhere is. And hopefully that doesn't happen because, like you guys are saying, it's definitely not going to end well for us if something does go on. I know that they do have a lot of like missile defense systems where I don't know who makes them. Maybe one of these defense stocks like General Dynamics, Lockheed, or maybe Northrop, someone like that helps make some like nuclear defense systems. But I know that they have a lot of defenses in place for nukes. Like, for example, if nukes started to, like, if we detected any of them we can fire off missiles that intercept the nukes and like destroy them while they're in the air. But just keep in mind, that there could be ones that go undetected and stuff like that. So, it's still always a crazy thing to look at. We have to kind of put on our tinfoil hats a little bit, to talk about nuclear war. It's getting a little bit crazy. But let's see. Peter says, ticket to Mars with Papa Elon. Yeah, that'll probably be where you need to go if that happens. To be honest, I definitely would not want to be here. That's for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for joining the stream this morning. I appreciate it. Bravo, Hunter, Trading Lifestyle, or Peter, Aloha, Square, Vicky, Real. Thank you guys all for joining the stream. I appreciate you sticking with me here this morning. And, stocks have been all over the place. The market's just been slowly staying between a range. You can see like Apple and Microsoft are also just slowly consolidating here, not having too much crazy movement. The only stocks that were really moving pretty crazy today were the chip stocks like Nvidia and AMD, but even those ones are starting to fall back off to the downside now. So maybe look at these for some potential moves later on. But so far today, nothing too crazy in the market. I will say though, tomorrow we're going to have that CPI data coming out in the morning. So definitely keep this in mind here. 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, that CPI data will be reported. So that's going to be a big thing tomorrow. This could definitely start moving the SPY again. And if we see the inflation rate come in worse than expected, then, maybe expect a bit of a bit more of a drop with the market. But, that's going to be big for tomorrow, guys. So definitely come back and join tomorrow's stream. It's going to be a pretty fun one if the market gets volatile. So we'll have to see. But thank you guys all for joining. Have a great rest